What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Happier, Healthier Arkansas podcast hosted by the Specific Chiropractic Centers. I'm Dr. Cam.
And I'm Dr. Chris, and we just want to thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode. If you haven't done so already, please click that subscribe button, and thank you for joining us on our mission towards making Arkansas the happiest and healthiest state on the planet.
Welcome back to another episode of Happier, Healthier Arkansas. As you all know, our mission here at the Specific Chiropractic Centers is to make Arkansas the happiest, healthiest state on the entire planet by going from number 49th to number 1 in overall health, and we empower people to do this by getting them to be the pilots and not the passengers of their lives. Today, you got the docs. Again, you all love it when Dr. Chris and I are together, but we got to get started. I got to ask, what are we drinking?
I'm drinking a energy drink that you got me yesterday. It's some kind of sugar-free Starburst drink. We're just going to get gassed up real quick for the next 20-25 minutes. So we might as well bring as much value to you guys as possible. So why not get just completely cheddar cheesed?
Yep, and I'm drinking some tea. We're not sponsored by them yet, but Yogi, hit us with the sponsorship.
Yeah, I had my Yogi tea this morning. Blueberry green tea times apple cider digestive awakening. That's what I had this morning. I already ripped that. Now we're going with this. For Fridays, when we get together, we do free flow. And we have nothing scripted, literally zero. But I was listening to a podcast a couple days ago. It's Modern Wisdom. It's by Chris Williamson. And an episode was featuring Alex Hormozi. And Alex Hormozi just did some kind of webinar thing where he released his book, $100 Million Leads, and he had 500,000 people on that call. Literally
Wow.
broke the internet. And that made me think, I was like, okay, if I'm in a setting like this, I'm speaking. Imagine right now we're sitting in some kind of theater or some kind of stadium. We have literally almost everyone of Arkansas sitting there, and they came to listen to us speak. What would we talk about?
Yeah.
What would you start with?
Yeah, and you told me, just so you know, this is unscripted. Every time we're together, most of the times when we're together, we do free flow. Free flow is meaning unscripted. The biggest thing that we would do, because here's the thing, especially being from where we're from, there's more people that we grew up with in a 25, 50-mile radius than in this entire state.
Oh, yeah.
And so what's awesome about that is that, we're able to actually impact more people, or we're able to impact the lesser people, but on a greater scale. And that's why when we look at number 49th in terms of public health and overall health, it is not impossible to get to number 1.
Right.
By the way, number 1 is Hawaii. We've been telling patients that. They're like, well, of course, it's Hawaii. But here's the problem with Hawaii, is that Hawaii thinks that they're so healthy, they don't need any help. That's the difference. Because people here, we're getting calls now. We're not exaggerating. We're getting calls a lot of people that are looking to come into the clinic and get the relief that they deserve because they're sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's how we're going to go from number 49 to number 1, is not only by us taking care of people, but by you all spreading the message and how, we and the people that we have on the podcast are making Arkansas happier and healthier. So what would we talk about? I would say...
What would you start with? How would you captivate the crowd?
I would captivate the crowd by talking about the reality, that talking about the happiness and health is not present in the state of Arkansas, because if it was, then our numbers would reflect it. And then the next thing I would talk about is how we can go from 49th to number 1 with an action plan of what we could actually do about it. The podcast that we had before we recorded this one, talking about safety, because obviously Arkansas is becoming one of the most crime rated places in America. So talking about safety, talking about holistic health. By the way, holistic health isn't just pills, potions, and supplements and all this like witchcraft. That's not what it is. That's a term of what modern medicine wants to push to keep you in their society. But holistic medicine holistic, that doesn't even make sense. Holistic medicine. That makes no sense, because you can't be holistic and take medicine. So
Is that what a supplement is?
It's a good question.
Is that what a vitamin is?
I would say, supplements or vitamins. Vitamins also come into supplements. Supplements are supplementing, a deficiency.
Can we get it from our own food?
We could.
So why don't we do that?
Because it'd probably
We're lazy.
Is it lazy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're lazy. If I had 500,000 Arkansans sitting around me right now, I would probably ask how many of you would all raise your hand, how many of you, either yourself or someone else that you know, feels like that their body, their life, their health is just happening to them. In which case they're just riding in the passenger seat and nothing is actually they're out of control. Like they have no control of what their health is doing.
Yeah.
And then you'd see all these hands raise up. And then that moment, then they'd be like, okay, what are they going to go in on? How could I? They're telling me, they're literally talking about me because I have this chronic health issue, probably multiple, with multiple systems going on, probably taking 10 medications for each individual symptom, for each different system. And then they're like, okay, is there actually something that these guys might be able to help me out with?
Well, do you believe that the body can heal itself?
That's one of the first questions I always ask everybody.
Yep.
It's like,
We're asking you in the podcast right now,
Right.
actually. Let's ask you. Do you, that are watching or listening, do you believe that the body can heal itself?
all right, now 500,000 hands.
Go
Okay,
on.
yeah, right. Because imagine when we're 5 years old playing capture the flag, we fall, we scrape our knee. We're going to get a scab. It heals up. We don't see the scab anymore. We're 12, we play soccer, we strain our hamstring, and then it heals up. And that healing mechanism is all inclusive to every single cell, muscle, tissue, and organ in our entire body. It's not exclusive to just our skin and our muscles. And then when I tell that to people the first time I interact with them, they're like, okay, that makes sense. And I was like, okay, well, how is this healing code created? Brain creates it, conducted by my nerves. That's how it's communicated. It's how we can get to all these 7 trillion cells in our entire body. And then if we have a disruption in that flow from brain-body communication via the nervous system, then that's when the chronic health issues will get initiated. We might not experience the symptoms of it until much further down the line, but that dysregulation of proper function of the human body will get initiated at that point when the brain-body communication flow gets disrupted and dysregulated.
Remember what we talked about not too long ago. 80% loss of function before we start to experience symptoms. There has to be an 80% loss of function before someone starts experiencing symptoms. It's the same thing where when it comes to kidney failure, you do not experience the symptoms of kidney failure until 90% of the kidney has failed. You do not experience, you can't experience
Diabetes.
Yeah,
Talk about that.
diabetes. Oh man.
Right? So diabetes, that if you don't have type 2 diabetes, that does not mean that it's pretty much already occurring. It's just that your pancreas hasn't said yet, you know what, I'm going to retire. I've been working way too hard for the past 60 years. I think I'm due. You know what? Good luck, man. See ya. And when you actually get diagnosed with diabetes, especially type 2, that process has actually already been developing for probably about 10 to 14 years.
Right.
That's what pre-diabetic is. It's just you're getting to that point before the pancreas just gives out. And so that's where we have to be proactive and address this from the get-go. Because if we wait so long for symptoms to arise and we wait until we start getting hyper sick, then we have to rely on medicine just to promote quality of decline.
Mm-hmm. And okay, so we're kind of in the central topic of if we're speaking to let's say 500,000.
Pretty much big idea to the stadium.
Yeah. Let's say 3 million people, because there's around 3 million people in Arkansas.
Right.
So let's say there's 3 million people listening to this podcast right now. Right. That'd be incredible, by the way. So if you could share this podcast, let people know about it. That'd
Subscribe
be awesome.
as well. Yes, please.
Subscribe. But when it comes to health, we see it all the time where essentially people are stretched thin. You know what I mean? They're stretched thin. They don't know what to do. Let's talk kind of in the realm about ways that people can amplify right? What are some ways that people can amplify nervous system regulation and amplify their nervous system to kind of help, combat some of the different things that they're experiencing, and as it relates to chronic conditions.
Right. So where do we start? So there's 5 pillars to health. You have movement, functional movement. So that's exercise. How we do that, that's incredibly potent for our brain health and our brain quality, because our brain needs oxygen to survive. Our brain cells, essentially, they take up 60 to 70% of our oxygen that we inhale goes directly to our brain, because our brain is controlling literally everything in our body. Mm-hmm. It's what's dictating how all these things work for us unconsciously. The second piece is nourishment, which is our food, diet, quality of it. If it is not coming out of the ground, don't have it. If it has more than 5 ingredients, don't have it. If it has a word that you cannot pronounce, don't have it. Literally, if you just follow those 3 things, you're symptomatic, your health is going to start creating positive momentum. The third one is regeneration, recovery, which that is sleep. That's where the purpose of sleep is to clear out the prior day stressors and to prepare for the upcoming day stressors, because we've all experienced life. There's going to be something external that happens to us in the day that's going to cause our fire alarm to go off, which you talked about last time we were here. The fourth one is outlook and perspective, our mental state. If we are in a state of being hyper anxious all the time or hyper stressed out, that is once again that emotional component of the 3 stressors: physical, chemical, and emotional. And then the 5th pillar is function. And so if you start tapping in to each of those ingredients and figuring out what is useful for your system right in this moment, then your nervous system you'll start to create a recipe that is actually going to help you reverse this loss of 80% function. Because a lot of us, one thing I've noticed, I'm sure you have too, so we're both not from here, California, Michigan. In which case, our Kansans, they appear healthy externally.
Mm-hmm. That's very true. That's so funny you bring that up.
Because we're number 49.
Yeah.
If we are number 49 out of 50, and yet, externally, we appear pretty healthy. And yet, internally, people are suffering. That's the whole concept of the pilot-passenger. People appear to be the pilots, they appear to be in control of their lives, and yet they come into us and they just unload on all of the dysfunctional aspects of their life and their health. And they're just like, I have no clue what's happening to my body. My body's just taking me for a ride, and I'm just all like, all right, I'm just going to dig deep and try and get through the day. They're just existing and not living.
And that's why I wanted to talk about that, because I know, especially when we do presentations, I'll bring that up as like the Kickstarter, and you'll take it over. We really do well off feeding off of each other's, feeding off each other very, very well, man. Because
filling in the gaps that we ourselves are not actively thinking about, because we're just filling in something.
Filling in the gaps, because what happens, especially when it comes to the function part, is that just because you are asymptomatic doesn't mean you're not sick. Just because you're asymptomatic, I hear it in your head. Yeah. Say it again for the people. Yeah. Just because you're asymptomatic, it does not mean that you're not sick. Okay, so because if there has to be an 80% loss of function before one actually experiences pain or symptoms, what if we catch it at 50% loss of function, or 40% loss of function, or 30, or 10? What if we keep it at 0% loss of function? That's why nervous system restoration care is so important.
Another question I might ask 5 or 3 million people in the stadium right now. Raise your hand if you feel like your life is only at 20% brightness.
Right.
If I had a light dimmer right here, where if I put it all the way up in my office, it's really, really bright. And then if I start dimming it down, it's almost your ceiling. It's your limitation. It's your capacity. It's your threshold. And there's a lot of people, plenty of humans out there in the world who move consistently, who eat well, who sleep good, and who have a good outlook on life, and they're still sick. Mm-hmm. So I just said 4 pillars. I said, okay, there's 5 pillars of health, and I'm addressing 4 of them. Why am I still sick? Why is my light bulb only at 30%?
Right.
because we're not actually functioning correctly, because that brain-body communication is not allowing the optimal integration of all of the things that we are doing for ourselves to actually get utilized and accessed.
And that right there, feeds into the thing that, that's why I mentioned at the beginning why and how we make Arkansas happier and healthier. It's funny because my mission and vision was to make Arkansas the happiest, healthiest state in the entire planet. Grant's mission and vision is to go from number 49th to number 1. Your mission and vision is to get people to be the pilot and not the passenger of their health. So when you put those three things together and you put a clinic like this out there that genuinely wants to see the people of Arkansas flourish, I'm extremely blessed, grateful to be able to be on this journey. Not only, Grant was here first, not only Grant when he got things started, not only me when I came on, but then when you came on. We really, really hope that you all find value from what it is that we're doing here. And if you don't, let us know, because we're very, we're very open and would like to, hear what people have to say. But also, if you like it, please let us know. Share these podcasts, share the information that we're giving. Big thing we want to release right now before we end, our app.
So now we have 3 million people in the stadium. I love this thing because it makes you like, okay, how the heck are we going to get people to get gassed up?
So now we have 3 million people in the stadium, that stadium being Arkansas as a whole. If you go onto the Google Play Store or the App Store and you look up the specific centers, you're going to find an app that has a logo of our logo. It's an S with a white background and a gray S. Download that.
Whip out your phones, go to the App Store, type in the specific centers, and click that blue button that says Get. And then you're going to get a circle, and then it's going to load, and then you're going to click Open. And when it opens up, what are you going to see? You're going to see things we help with. So that's going to be a lot of conditions that we see commonly that don't get better from traditional medicine and care. One of the things that we hear all the time on a phone call from people, just random calls, they say what? I've been everywhere and I've tried everything and nothing has helped. You go, okay, what do you have? A lot of them will have chronic migraines. They'll have fibromyalgia, neuropathies, could be chronic neck pain, back pain, could be acid reflux, digestive issues, sleep issues, neurodegenerative such as Parkinson's, anxiety, mental health stuff. And they don't understand that all of those are actually connected because the brain-body communication is dysregulated, dysfunctional.
And so,
what else is on the app?
What else is on the app? As you go in there, biggest thing we want to market to you, 2 clicks. 2 clicks. Virtual consultation. On that app, all it takes is 2 clicks. You tap the virtual consultation and you tap join room, and one of us, Dr. Grant, myself, or Dr. Chris, is going to be on there to be able to answer any questions that you all may have. The biggest thing that we want to do with this app is be able to reach people. We have a very specific QR code for everyone that is listening. If you are listening and you downloaded that app and you currently don't have all the extra bonus content on it, reach out to us and we'll make sure that
the hidden features where we got multiple practitioners throughout the city to get involved in this app to provide literally as many resources as possible, and we continue to add on and pour into this app literally every single week.
And so you reach out to us, you let us know if you if you downloaded the app and you're missing the hidden features. Reach out to us, we'll make sure we get you that QR code. We appreciate all of you for listening. Dr. Chris, it's always good to have you on, man. It's always good to have me on. It's always good to, it's always good to get together in free flow. For us, we want to keep that mission and vision of making Arkansas the happiest, healthiest state in the entire planet, and you all are a part of that journey. So God bless you. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Take care. We hope you guys enjoyed this latest episode of Happier, Healthier Arkansas. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate your guys' support. Please click that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Thank you for joining us.
And if you're on a mission to help make Arkansas happier, healthier with us, again, please feel free to share this with anyone that you know so that way we can continue to help perpetuate the mission of making Arkansas the happiest, healthiest state on the entire planet.
Until next time,
see ya!